Welcome back to the Plays with Cars YouTube channel and another episode of Project Mazda. So we've got the actual legit daily driver Mazda 5 and we're getting it ready for CorkSport in Vancouver. They are a Mazda performance shop. They are doing the Mazda Showdown tomorrow. Obviously, as I'm filming this, I'm hoping to get this up today, but we're getting this thing all ready for the car show. New suspension is installed. I've let everything settle. I've adjusted it, and you can see I've got the gaps just about perfectly even front to back now, unloaded. So I think it's looking really good. Obviously, I could go lower if I want to, but again, this thing is legit daily driver. Holds between 2 to 4 kids on the regular, so, or you know, car wheels and tires and things like that. So, but you can see it is a filthy honking mess outside and in, and just needs a ton of work if we're going to go to the car show with it. So we're going to start working on it. I still got to put my endlinks on. I have to custom make some endlinks for this thing because the coilovers have the brackets 1.5 inches too far down, so you need a much shorter end link for it, and I couldn't find anything off the shelf that would work. So I got some custom ones we're going to put on there, so I'll show you all that stuff once I get it up in the air for that. And I think that's about it for mechanical stuff, and the rest of it is just going to be clean, because we really want this thing to look good for the shootout. So obviously it's not going to win the dyno challenge or the drag race or anything like that. Car show is going to be where it's at for this thing. So yeah, let's get to work. Alright, so outside hasn't changed yet. Started on the inside. Wanted to show you the progress so far. Got everything nice and clean and shiny, even inside the doors and the door jambs, and got the carpets and the upholstery as best we could, and dashboard all nice, and back here where the minions sit is even all done up nice. One of these has been broken forever, and Susie just fixed that for me, so these are all nice and even now, looking great. And around here to the back, inside the back, put my cargo cover back in, looking good. Got back here all nice and cleaned up and vacuumed and all that stuff too, and even cleaned everything under here. Took the sprout and everything, found a couple of pounds of dirt down in there, and put everything back together, and got my emergency supplies and my tie downs and stuff all in there. So back is all done up nicely. Come around to this. Even cleaned up in here in the racks and the rails, all back in here where it gets all super dirty is all clean. Got all in here all clean. Carpet's looking really nice. Upholstery's looking good. Same thing within here. Did in the doors and in the jams, all up in there. And then I even I've had the dash cam forever, which is a link in the description below for this dash cam. It's the Rove A1. I've really liked this. We've got this in the Audi and in the Mazda. But finally ran the wire all down. I wasn't able to go all the way under the A-pillar, so I put a little cut there, and it came around this side, one underneath the bottom. And then again, right here, this whole center console is one piece. I've got one little piece of wire right here, but it should be good. It's a lot better than having the big hanging thing that we normally have. So yeah, that's the interior of the 5, all done up, looking nice, getting ready for the CorkSport Mazda Showdown. So definitely looking nice in here. So at least the interior is ready to go. Now I'm going to do the work on the suspension, and then once we're all done with that and get the car back on the ground, then we'll do all the washing and waxing on the outside. So yep, first step done. Alright, so we got the car back up in the air, doing these end links for the sway bar finally. So these are the factory end links. They are 12 inches from center to center on here, and because this bracket is 1.5 inches lower on this strut than the factory ones, you need end links that are 1.5 inches shorter. So I ordered these from White Line. It's the W23180. They make a bunch of different link kits in different sizes. This particular one is 12 inches center to center, and what they do is this side is welded, and then this side has a little lock nut on it, and the end, the little ball jointed end, unscrews, and then it's all thread all the way down, and you cut to length wherever you need. Now, you don't just want to measure the center bar and then cut, because then you won't have enough thread to get back in here. So what I did is, because it was perfectly 12 inches center on center, just like the factories to start with, I was able to unthread it, measure back 1.5 inches, and cut this thread, because it goes into here. And that put my cut about here. Threaded the new one on. Now I've got a perfectly 10.5 inch center to center like I need for the sway bar. So now I'll be able to put this on the car like so down there, like so up here, because of course the bar doesn't sit that low. You want the bar up in the air like that, and she'll be all set. So I gotta snip that off and tighten this up, and then I'll show you when it's all done. And boom, just like that, we're in. So got it in on that side and on that side, all in. Got the sway bar up off the control arm now, so I don't hear it knocking around in there. And now we got front sway bar reconnected. So I also adjusted the coilovers. I brought the nose down another 1/4 inch. I think that's kind of all it needs to completely level out. So we're ready to slap this side back together and go to the other side. And just like that, we are all done with this side too. So same thing, I lowered it down just a tiny little bit, another 1/8 inch to level out. Got the new end link all trimmed to fit and put in place. Everything fits perfectly. Those are our Hawk brakes, by the way. These are the Hawk Street Race 5.0 pads with matching drilled slotted rotors. These are Hawk rotors. These are not cheapy eBay, whatever, Chinese specials. This thing's actually seen track work. That's why it's all dusty in here, because that's what we do with these things. But yeah, and then to adjust the rears, by the way, you have to go in here, up here to the top. There's this little like side adjuster thingy here. That's where you adjust the rears, is right there in that, on that knob. But I adjusted the rears 3 clicks higher. I adjusted the fronts 2 clicks higher. So now we're at 4.3 from soft. Just trying to dial in the ride on this thing. But yeah, as far as mechanical works, we're done. I just gotta slap the wheel back on, put this thing on the ground, and we're all done with that. While I was doing that, Susie worked on the under hood here and got it looking spick and span and shiny. It is completely stone stock under here, except for the adjustments for the shocks. I haven't done anything with this motor yet. And the reason being is, when the automatic gives up, I'm gonna 5-speed or 6-speed swap this thing. And you can see there's all this space back here that could be taken up by a turbocharger. So that is the end goal eventually, is to make the 3rd ever Mazda Speed 5 wagon. Mazda built one and Road and Track built one famously. Mazda's ran in the One Lap of America. I don't know what Car and Driver did with theirs. Is it Car and Driver or Road and Track? I think it's Car and Driver that made their Mazda Speed 5. But both of them, they took a real Mazda Speed 3 and they swapped everything into the 5, which of course is direct injected out of the Speed 3 and all that stuff. And so they couldn't get like the body module and the computer module to talk to each other, so they had like a Speed 3 gauge cluster like hacked into the dash and other stuff like that. I don't want to do all that. I don't need to go full Speed 3 on mine. I'm going to leave the 2.3 in here. It's a good little motor. It's ready for low boost as is. Put a tiny little turbo on it and kind of make like a Speed 5 Junior, so to say. So just like anybody would turbo a regular 3. So but that's all far, far in the future. First was getting all the suspension stuff dialed in. So anyways, all our mechanical work is done. Cosmetic work is done under the hood. Now it's time to button it all up and work on the cosmetic work on the outside. And that's the outside all prettied up. So I moved the license plate over to cover up the hole in the grill, and also because I never really liked it in the middle anyway. I think I'm digging the look. My grill was broken before. I had a box truck back into me years ago and never really fixed it, so definitely going to get a new grill no matter what, even if I keep doing this. But I kind of like the plate down and back. It makes the nose of the car a bit shorter too. But got it all washed up, got the wheels cleaned up pretty nice, and paint is looking all right on it for being a 2008 with 125,000 miles on it. She still sounds pretty good, and there's no wax or polish or anything on it yet. Like, that's just straight washed. I'm gonna let it dry. I'm actually gonna pull the Cobra out and wash it too, and then I'm gonna take the polisher to it, and then tomorrow morning I'll wax it before we go down to CorkSport and put some tire shine on. So that's pretty much the final product of what you're going to see tomorrow. Like I said, I'm going to do a couple little things, some tire shine and some wax and things like that, and that'll all be in tomorrow's video. But for today, that's going to do it for Mazda 5. We are all ready for the CorkSport Mazda Showdown. So looking good, feeling fresh.